time.
Right.
Then you'll see all the processes working. So you should see crisp with its capital K. Yeah.
Not working.
Right, good morning and welcome to...
I think you need a reboot, Peter.
There's a conversation going in the background. We're trying to fettle Peter's camera. He's using XSplit and he's just disappeared. So let's start the clock. Countdown for a few seconds. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
All right. Okay. Software. Yeah. Basically, XSplit VCam have become XSplitVCam.ai, and they've closed off the old version and set up a new one on a new website with new branding.
Well, I'm still using the old one.
Yeah, me too. Occasionally, but it's not good practice for a software house. It's not the first time they've done it. They actually hived off. They had 4 products initially, and they've now cut that down to 2. And 2 of them, Presenter and the Screen Capture Program, are now a new system, which you've got to sign up for again.
All right.
Okay. So
well, Peter had trouble just opening the task manager, so
yeah,
it's rebooted.
Yeah, he's rebooted. They've still got XSplit showing as his camera though. Okay, right. Okay, we're this is Blabbing for Britain. Welcome to the show. Episode 395, the one where Peter had problems with XSplit VCam, which is his background removal software, which John is using quite happily, sat next to me. So we're going to bring Peter in, and I'm going to bring Peter in voice only for the moment. So you'll hear the voice of Mr. Peter Stewart in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Peter. Oh, wait a minute. Can you see that, John? He's got XSplit.
Yes, it's XSplit Broadcaster, which is
not that one. No, that's XSplit VCam. You don't want that one. The camera you want is your real own camera. Right. Okay. Right. Welcome to the show, everybody. And first of all, some big news. If I can find my graphic, and this is happening today. So let's take that down, and let's put this up, and move it over there. On Royston Radio today at 1 p.m. Ask Angelica, German language tuition with Angelica Davey and me, Stephen Healy. Well, basically, Fons approached us last week and said, would Ask Angelica work on radio? We're about to find out today. Basically, we've got all the MP3s for season 3 and season 4. So we've got all the audio tracks already on Google Drive. So sent them over to Fons, and he'll be playing 2 or 3 episodes of Ask Angelica on the radio. So big thank you to Fons. And if you want to listen to Royston Radio, then just type it into your browser, and you can listen live at 1 o'clock today. Angelica and I will be listening live as we eat lunch. Yeah. Now Peter's microphone should be working. Peter,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Right. I'm not even going to. Don't speak anymore about things not working. Carry on with the show.
I can't. You've got to talk. You've got to help us out. I mean, it's easier with 3 of us talking than 2 of us talking.
Yeah. No. What I mean is, I don't want to be. I don't want. I'm coming on to my phone actually. Right.
Okay.
And I'll be coming on there.
Okay, Peter.
I'll see you when I come back.
Okay. Right. So Peter's hiding. I'm just waiting for him to leave. Yeah. So Peter's left. Let's just switch around. That doesn't look right, does it, John? How about that? I'll tell you what, we'll bring this in as well. And go there. Nope.
I don't mind how you put it.
Right.
And the people on Royston Radio don't care.
Well, no, if you're listening on Royston Radio, thank you. It's John and I in the studio. Peter is going to come in via mobile in a moment. He's having problems with his camera on desktop. These things are sent to trials. They happen occasionally. And I suppose this week mobile is the best solution. I mean, this is episode, as we said a moment ago, this is episode 395. And it's been a while since any of us had problems with the camera. Yeah. I mean, the normal problem we have is that I don't unmute my microphone. Yeah. Okay. So, Royston Radio, 1 o'clock today. Ask Angelica, German language tuition with Angelica Davey and Stephen Healy, roystonradio.com, or you can ask your Echo Dot to play Royston Radio, and she will. Okay. And we're back. Okay, yeah, right. So what's going on in the world?
Well, America have had yet another mass shooting, haven't they?
They have. 22 people. Police won't actually release the official figures. And again,
Still says 16 on the latest official American broadcast.
Yeah, I was listening to radio this morning, waking up. I was switching between Radio 5 and between the Times radio, of course. And the story came out between the two of them. But yeah, I mean, it's gun laws again, isn't it? I mean, basically, since Dunblane in the UK and the regulations that were put into practice after that, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it's their freedom.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good freedom to have.
Alexa, stop. Alexa's listening in, and she was trying to play "Freedom" by Wham, then, which would have been all right on Royston Radio, but we're broadcasting on LinkedIn and YouTube today, and we'd have been warned on YouTube. We would have been warned for copyright infringement.
Yeah, so they've named the person. He's a guy called Robert Card, age 40, and he shot people in a restaurant and a bowling alley.
Yeah, guns, Peter.
Sorry, madness. You know, it's I mean, in all honesty, you actually need a gun for self-protection in America. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a man walking into a church one day, of all places, just come in, indiscriminately shooting people in the church. But one of the guys had a concealed gun on him and shot him dead. A lot of people's lives were saved that day because that man was allowed to carry a concealed weapon. It's a catch-22.
Catch-22, isn't it?
Yeah.
Catch-22.
No use putting your hands up to a madman. He's going to shoot you.
True.
Oh, please don't shoot me. No, thank you. Bang. Next. I think, yeah. If I had the chance in Britain, I would carry a gun.
But we don't need to protect ourselves from guns because there aren't any guns, apart from the ones that the villains have got.
Yes, that's the problem, you know. I've got an air rifle license in Scotland. You don't need it in England. And I was punished because there was a madman out there with an air rifle.
Yeah.
Kid, really, basically a young boy. And the adults were punished. And we've got to get a license. And I can tell you there are many there's many air rifles out there that they don't have licenses for. Another mad Scotland, England thing. England don't have that. let's put that in. Let's do one thing better. Let's do one incy-bincy thing better than England.
I would say my lad has an air rifle. I don't think it's been out of the cupboard. It's locked in for,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, probably 15 years it's been sat where it is.
Right.
He's lost interest in it, yeah?
Ooh. Ooh.
So Peter's owing something. I want to know what happened to your hair, Peter. Did they slip with the clippers?
No, I went in. It's called a skin. He says, once you get this, he says, it makes you look as though you've got more hair. And when I go singing, I have to beat the women off now.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It looked like a very wide mohawk to me.
Yeah. It's the, I was watching them getting their hair cut, and I says, what's that? And he says, that's a skin. I says, do you think I'd suit that? He says, actually, I think you would. And when they first cut, it's like a bowl cut. You go, what?
What have I done? You got used to it though now.
Yeah, I love it. It makes you feel so clean, right?
Okay.
You look like a US Marine.
How John could walk about like that, I do not know. I just couldn't.
Look, while I've got it, I'm keeping it. Yeah.
The hairiness of it. Oh my God. Oh. Now, I've had to. What are we talking about today?
Well, US shooting was the only thing we've really discussed.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever stop that.
Yeah, so many people have got guns.
Yeah.
Too many people have got guns, and they're not going to give them up because of one of the amendments says that you've got the right to carry a gun. Possibly. You don't know whether it is or not.
And that's why they were able to get their own country and fight the British.
Yeah, we're going back a bit there, Peter.
Yeah,
but it did happen, though. It did happen.
Everybody goes back a bit, even with the latest situation with Palestine and Israel. I've watched commentators. Do you condemn this? But it's because of this long ago.
Yeah.
It's because of this. No, I'm asking you the question. Today's question is, do you, I'm not going to even mention names. Do you condemn it? But it's because of this.
Yeah.
You know? Now, isn't it terrible that they've had to show pictures of the dead people in various contortions, etc., so that journalists can see the truth? The journalists will not be happy until see the real bodies lying there.
Right.
They're going to have to take journalists to a morgue and film them looking at it and say, "Now do you believe me?"
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm going to float a weird theory of mine, which came to me overnight, and I spoke to Angelica about it. She doesn't think I'm totally mad, so therefore it might have some legs. Basically, at the moment in Gaza, you've only got one road in, and that's from Egypt, and the number of trucks is being limited. Yeah. And you've got the situation in the south of Gaza where people have running out of water, running out of food, running out of electricity, running out of fuel. Okay, so I want to take you back now to when Berlin was partitioned and broken into east and west.
Yeah.
And the east was Russian and the west was British and American and French. And the Russians said, okay, we've got half Berlin now, we want the whole of it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to blockade West Berlin until you submit and we can have it.
Yeah.
And the Americans and the English, British, and the French said, we're not going to let you do that. And they started basically an airlift with planes flying into Tempelhof and the other airport in Berlin. And they kept the food flowing sufficient that in the end, the Russians realized that they weren't going to be able to do what they wanted to do. They couldn't blockade anymore, and they stopped the blockade.
Yeah.
So my simple question is, all these countries are hedging their bets and saying, okay, we can't get in via road. Why on earth can't they just fly over and drop the goods?
Because they're scared to get shot down by somebody.
That's the, yeah, you're probably right, Peter. That's probably why my flyover won't work. But an airlift would actually.
Again, during the Second World War, a lot of people probably don't know this either. The Germans realised that the Dutch were starving.
Yeah.
It was coming to the end of the war. Do you know what happened?
No.
They were starving. They let the Allied forces fly into a route where they promised they would not shoot them down.
Right. Yeah.
And they came in unarmed, and they had to take the Germans' word for it, and they flew in, and they dropped in food for the Dutch. And when they flew out in the pass, it actually gets me this. They made them stone so the pilots could see it when it was uplifting. It said, "Thank you, boys."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. There was a truce called. Yeah. I mean, I've not heard that before, Peter. And I think it does show that, and given the political will, a solution can be found.
Now, those pilots and those crewmen had to fly in, and they'd say to themselves, "Well, I hope to keep their word."
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Yeah. And of course, the thing is, if you drop the supplies and they go to the opposition, for want of a better word, then that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Actually, I've been talking to a guy I've been talking to two people in Israel today, right? One's my cousin, who's in Boots, and there's another guy who basically got run out of Aberdeen, right? He used to sell stuff from the Dead Sea, fragrance, whatever he sold in a shopping centre, and he was actually hounded out of my city by pro-Palestine supporters, and they tried to get him boycotted and everything. And he went back to Israel, and I've kept in touch with them all. So I've been asking how they're getting on. Both of them, my cousin, who has converted to Judaism, ex-British soldier, he is now walking about in his kibbutz with an M16. And the other guy who lives in Tel Aviv, he's walking about with an M16 as well. And I says, "Do you get rockets coming down?" He goes, "All the time."
Yeah.
This is Tel Aviv, all the time. Nobody ever hears about it.
No, it's true.
And I think Israel, this is my point of view, I think Israel have been very constrained with what they're doing. They have given ample opportunity for people. Listen, if somebody said to me, "Listen, see in about an hour's time, Peter, there's a rocket coming right down in your house, or I'll go past your house. I'm not staying here. I'm moving. I'll have to go." They've given ample opportunity. Now, the problem is, people are saying, "If you go, we might kill you." You know? Yeah. Now, here's another thing, the hostage thing. They let 2 85-year-old women or whatever, what a great thing. Why didn't you let their husbands with them?
Yeah. It's just prolonging the situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously okay. Let's change tack, shall we? Because you just feel powerless and empathy with those who are actually suffering. Let's go to Brechin.
Brechin, yeah. Brechin.
What's it been like in the last week, Peter, in your area?
Well, I don't really see it, to be honest with you, because I'm on a hill.
Yeah.
And but Brechin's been flooded. I've seen some of the rivers in my area flooded. But it's been, although we were in the heart of it, it was very windy, but we've had no problems. Of course, there's people been killed. I still went into the city last week for a sing-song. The bar was packed. You know?
Yeah. So
we're a hardy bunch up here. You know? It's more the outlying areas where people unfortunately got swept into water and stuff like that. But I will say, Andy and I went out was it a couple of weeks ago, and I was starting. We went about. He says, "Do you fancy going the back road?" I goes, "Aye, okay." And we made it across the Dice Airport. When I say I made it, it was no problems. And 2 days later, he says, "Just as well we didn't go that route later because the whole place was flooded."
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think have you in your time there actually experienced anything like it?
Sorry, you broke up.
Sorry. Have you experienced flooding like that before around Brechin and what have you?
Not there, but I'll tell you what I was. That blooming Dartmoor, I was on that, and it got near enough wall, got hypothermia. We were sleeping in tents when I was 17 as a soldier. And I don't know if you've had that, you're lying in your maggot, which is your, what do you call it, your sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And you woke up during the night, and your tent was a river, and everything was flowing through it. And it was inside your sleeping bag. And it was the worst night I've ever spent in my life. So I know what it's like to be cold and freezing. But no, we've had one. I mean, my worst times were when I was I was a bus driver, and I was in the country buses, and I was heading from Aberdeen to a place called Ellon, right? Which is not Aberdeen, about 17 miles out. And I was taking the bus. And I was travelling. It was an old bus with a crash gearbox. Not a lot of people can drive in. And I'm going out, and it became a whiteout. And I was just 21. And I looked, and the bus came to a halt, and I couldn't see anything. No phones or anything in that day, no mobile phones. And I stood up to the passengers, and I said, "Right, I'll go and get help."
Yeah.
And with an old greatcoat, funnily enough, I've got greatcoats, put it on, and I says, "I may be sometime." And
famous words, but you obviously made it back. Yeah, I mean,
a brolly, and had to knock at a house to get help.
Als ik jong was, when I was young, my parents we went on holiday to Colwyn Bay, and I enjoyed it so much that a group of 5 lads at school, I persuaded them to go to Colwyn Bay camping. We'd never been camping before. We'd never been outside Nelson, Lancashire, but we decided to go off to Colwyn Bay and pitch a tent in the middle of a farmer's field. And we had 1 pan to cook in, and then the rains came, and we just, as you said, if you're in a tent and it starts pelting down, and this was the 70s, early 70s, then it's just not, once you've experienced it, you never forget it, because you are wet through from head to toe. And it's not as if you were stood in the rain. You're actually laying down in a tent which is leaking, and water's coming through the roof. It's coming up from the ground, and and then you've got to get up and cook breakfast.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was sunny, and we've got fond memories of that week in Colwyn Bay. But John, have you been affected by floods in Solihull?
The allotments were has a particular area where it dips, and every time we have a really big storm, that floods. So yes is the answer. Solihull itself hasn't really had much in the way of flooding. We haven't had, cars floating away or anything like that. Most of the fords that we used to have been passed by. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, we've had rain down in Devizes in Wiltshire, but nothing bad. Well, the park run on Saturday in Melksham, I was supposed to marshal, and we got the message at 8 o'clock in the morning that the park run in Melksham was cancelled. So Angelica said, why don't we, for the first time ever, go and do the park run in Devizes? Because there's a new one in Devizes, and it's only sort of 15 minutes away. So we got togged up, and I thought, well, I can't marshal because you've got to volunteer. So I actually ran. So the first time since July 29th, I actually did a park run, and it felt good. It felt good to be back and park running, park walking. And the thing is, it's called Quakers Walk. And what people do, because there are 700 and odd sites around the UK, is they do the A to Z or A to Z. And queue, there's only one queue other than Quakers Walk. So basically, in Melksham, we get 150 people. At Quakers Walk in Devizes, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, there were 347 people. And when you get 347 people on a narrow footpath, yeah, but it was good fun, and I actually completed it, got round. So I've got to get my flu jab this Saturday, so I've got a day off.
Yeah.
But then I'll be back doing the park run.
All the way around was you looking for defibrillators?
No, I basically I still go for a 3-mile walk every day. I try and be up at 8. Well, I'm trying to be out at 8 o'clock and go for a 3-mile walk. So I know the distance is not a problem. I know that the safest place to be on a Saturday morning, you've got two. Safest places to be on a Saturday morning if you're worried about your heart is 1, outside the hospital, emergency department, or 2, at a park run.
Yeah.
Because a park run has defibrillators stationed throughout the course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and teams trying to use them. So it is a safe place to be. So I'm happy that I can do the distance. That's not a problem. It's just a question of pace now. And I need to reframe, because I need to tell myself I can run fast again, or faster. So
Yeah.
I'm working with that at the moment. I might go out for a run tonight.
Yeah.
We'll see. Not a long run, just a short run, just a park run, because I've got my new ice band in case of emergency.
Yeah.
And basically, it's got the barcode on it. So when you finish the park run, they can just scan you, know who you are, and give you your time. Good. But strangely, if I put the old one somewhere safe, the old one used to have the park run barcode, and then it used to have your contact information next to it. So emergency phone number, any medical conditions. And I had to get a new one because of diabetes, because I need it on there. But the thing is that the ice information is on the inside of the band.
Right.
So in other words, whoever finds you has got to take the band off and look on the inside. Now, if it's a paramedic, they're going to know. Yeah. But if it's a member of the public, would you know that my details are inside? You wouldn't.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Well,
yeah.
Can I tell you about when I was nearly killed in London? My partner was a nurse, she's retired now. And I slipped from a lorry and I went into a corner of a piece of sheet metal that was standing upright and I was hanging from it. And I pulled myself up, fell on the ground. It was about 2 a.m. And I phoned my partner at her work. She was on night shift as a nurse.
Yeah.
Darling, I'm lying here on my own in the motorway. This has happened to me, just to say that I love you. And she's like, okay then, I'm a bit busy just now, phone me back later.
Not quite the reaction you expected, Peter.
No, really hard.
Yeah. I mean, in these days, the technology we've got now is amazing, because I could go to Strava. I could start Strava when I go for my walk, and it would send a beacon to
Yeah.
Angelica every 5 minutes saying where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically that way you're being tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have the technology to actually be tracked. Yeah. Indeed. Okay. Right. Now, we occasionally talk about LinkedIn, but I want to tell you a happy LinkedIn story. So I'm going to screen share. Just let me go here and here. And it's going to come up with a screen share, which is this one. Now, I've never quite understood. If I come here, you'll see if I bring the screen share in, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go, sorry, John, I'm going to go like this. Okay. This is my live page, and we're live on LinkedIn at the moment.
Right.
Okay, because we're actually broadcasting from Be Live out to LinkedIn, and we have an audience on LinkedIn, not necessarily watching live, but certainly watching the replay. But the reason I brought you in here is this: if I go up to view all analytics at the top, yeah.
Why am I not seeing this?
Sorry,
I'm not seeing this.
That's because you're on the phone.
I've lost half my audience. Okay.
Okay, carry on. Sorry about that.
You can watch the replay, Pete. Basically, I've had 1,943. But my posts have been shown to 1,943 people.
Yeah.
Now, if I go and I go to 28 days, okay, you can see that at the beginning of the month, nobody got to see my posts. And then, John, it leapt. And on Tuesday, 600 people saw my post, and yesterday, 500 people saw my posts. And one of the posts that I did about Streamsters had 687 views. Well, 687 of people have seen the post. And I've never thought that you'd actually get an audience on LinkedIn, but I've by accident, I've found an audience, and people are actually watching the videos. So I'm going to carry on doing it. I'm going to go, because I did 3 broadcasts to LinkedIn, just to LinkedIn, exclusives about Streamster, and they've gone very well. 687 views, 401 views, 487 views, and 293 views, even for part 3. And I can take any of those. There we are. And it started off with a 7-minute video, and then I did 2 more after. But as you can't see it, Peter, it's a bit. I'm going to hide it again. Okay, but I just want to say that I'm happy with LinkedIn and the reception I'm getting at the moment.
Well, I've got to tell you that I'm using LinkedIn more just answering people's questions. This morning we were looking at, we were talking about pay-per-click. I've got a guy that's a real expert in Aberdeen, and and I'm just answering questions and telling them what I'm doing, etc. It's quite amazing. But let me tell you about videos. This is quite interesting. I have just today, as of this morning, changed my call center. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you said you were thinking.
Yeah, well, I've done it. But yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I says, we need to have a meeting online. And for them working in a call center, well, the 2 ladies that basically run it, we met on Zoom. They would not turn their cameras on.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They would not turn it for dealing with the public and everything. And and I was telling them the sort of stuff that we're doing. Is there anything else that you need to tell us about? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, people do ask, is that the guy that looks like Louis Walsh's business? And then they both burst out laughs. One of them says, no, I've been looking at you and thinking, who does he remind me?
Yeah.
because people do that. But it really astounded me in this modern era that these ladies would not go on camera. You know?
Yeah.
But there you go. So I've had my first
Good.
call in today with them. So let's see how it goes. You know? And
Yeah, you were concerned about the response rate.
well, when you get 752 calls and they give you 486 inquiry leads,
Yeah.
I said, what happened to the other 300?
Yeah.
Which I've been charged for.
Mm-hmm.
I still await a reply. So it's now diverted away from them.
Yeah, you've got to do it, haven't you?
No, I don't even care. Oh, they said it was people asking for inquiry. No, admin and stuff. I said, well, I haven't had 3 months in it. You know, I await the what it'll be is, please hold the line. Now, as soon as that kicks in, that's a call.
Yeah.
Please. And if they get fed up, they put the phone down. So I've told this ladies already, under notice, I will be contacting them once a day just to check in on them. I've told them, how are you doing? It's Peter. Check in with us and just listen to what they say. And I managed to get an app, by the way, for my email. Yeah. I've actually used Proton Mail and that's working. It comes in basically immediately.
Brilliant.
Communications are vital in business. Vital. Indeed. And that's not only, do you know I pay about £1,000 a year in text to get a text? Get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
So that's saved. And I reckon that we've lost a lot of money by not getting the calls answered properly either. So
well, you see how that works out after a couple of months, won't you?
I'll be able to work it out, you know, because my average prices, I've just been looking at things. It's about average £300 just now that I get for every phone call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, folks, if you're in business and you're a small business, check everything. What you get, you know what happens in business? You get lulled into a false sense of security because you know people, and then they get complacent. He'll be okay. He won't mention it. And then you start digging.
Yeah.
And then you find out you've been taken for a mug.
Yeah.
Worth every penny.
Right. Time for an advert.
Okay.
Okay. Today at 1 p.m. on Royston Radio, it's the first ever radio broadcast of Ask Angelica. Angelica and I have been broadcasting together in video for the last 7 years, and we've racked up quite a few seasons. And seasons 3 and 4, we've got all the audio for. So Fons said, come on the radio. So from 1 o'clock today, you can start to learn German with Angelica Davy. And it's just basically using German phrases which will be useful and interesting, and you can get involved. You can listen on the radio. You can come over to Facebook and just search for Ask Angelica. You'll find it. And you can ask Angelica any question about German and get a response.
But don't mention the war.
No, we won't. So that's today, 1 o'clock, Royston Radio, Ask Angelica. I think it's a world first, and we're looking forward to it. Angelica and I will be listening to it while eating lunch today.
Sehr gut.
Es ist ausgezeichnet. Ich denke, am Radio alles gut. So that's the advertisement for this week from me. Peter, do you want to do an advertisement?
Yeah, let me. Bed bugs. Watch that. If you get a chance, go back and catch up and look at Channel 5+1. My mentor contacted me. Peter, go to Channel 5+1, right? And it's all about bed bugs. Recently, with the Paris and everything. There's a guy called James Logan. The women love him. But he's from Aberdeen, actually. He's entomologist. and it was all about bed bugs. And it's probably one of the best programs I've seen yet, about bed bugs and how we deal with them and what's involved with them and using the bed. I mean, the call, you hear things going on my phone. I mean, this call this moment is my first call this morning is for bed bugs. But 99% of calls are not bed bugs. So if you're in the Aberdeen area, you can get in touch with Aberkill and we'll sort your bed bug problem out. We've got a very good success rate with them. And even if you want to contact me from Englandshire or anything like that, the rest of Scotland, I can easily have a chat with you. I'll give you an online consultation. I'll decide what I'm going to charge you later, but I can easily do that for you as well.
Brilliant. Okay. John, are you advertising?
Advertising? What? No, I haven't advertised for ages. I'm very happy with the level of work I get from the 3 main customers I've got.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm semi-retired these days.
All right.
Why don't you tell us about your allotment shop?
Allotment shop? What about it?
Selling produce.
Selling.
We're not selling produce. We have
You're
got
not.
an allotment shop, which I do help run, but it's mainly run by my friend Chris Knight.
Right.
And we've got quite a successful allotment shop. Turns over, well, this year it's probably going to turn over somewhere around about the £6,000 or £7,000 mark. So it's pretty, you know, if you consider that all we sell is string and
Yeah.
potting materials, etc.
All right. Here's the thing. I was watching somewhere that they're turning areas in for public growing food.
Yeah.
But I think it'll get stolen. Out in the public, no, like grass verges and things and growing stuff. But unfortunately in society, folk will say, oh, that's ready to pick. I'm going to have that.
Yeah, I mean, we get complaints about stuff, food being stolen, you know, onions, particularly for some reason, onions get stolen.
It'll be French people that have came here.
No, I mean, we're a very multicultural allotments. Yeah, you know, we have got a French person, we've got people from all over the world, but regardless of that, it's gated, security fencing all the way around. And we still get complaints of disappearing food. And
Wow.
I'm almost sure it's other plot holders.
Yeah, well, I've got to admit, when I was a young boy, a very young man, we used to go and steal people's strawberries. That's for confession. I feel bad.
Yeah, we used to steal into people's back gardens for apples. Yeah. There were a gang of about 8 of us, and we used to get chased away because we shouldn't be doing that.
Do you know, I've got a bit of a limp now because of my sore back, and I'd be the sort of man that would run it. Hey, you! I'll tell you what you need. It's a good kick up the backside. You. Oh.
Well, I'm afraid we didn't nick things from people's back gardens when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
We had an orchard up the road that was several acres.
three confessions in one go.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you about my back. I've hurt my back, and I don't know how. So I went and seen a physio. She says, you need to get back cycling. She says, would you like a past life regression as well? I said,
What?
why don't we? So I lay back and she says, yes, I can see what the problem is. I said, what is it? She says, you were a slave in your last life and you were very lazy and they whipped your back. That's why it's so sore now.
You don't honestly believe in this rubbish, do you?
You don't know, do you?
You don't.
You never know.
There's like alternative medicine. Yeah. For some people, it works because they believe it's going to work, and there's no doubt that there are positive results from it.
Yeah.
So we just don't know. I mean, there's so many things we don't know,
No.
and we don't know what we don't know. That's the other problem.
Did you ever see a guy called Benny Hinn?
No, Benny. No. Let's say no.
Nay Hill, not Hill, but Benny Hinn was one of those evangelist pastors that flew about in planes with gold taps and everything.
Right.
And his hair was so amazing. And for some reason, I used to watch this guy. And I think I could be a Benny Hinn. And I'd be saying, now, the way to salvation is to get your checkbooks out and write as much as you can to me, and I will look after you. If you look after me, the Lord will look after. I think I would be very good at that.
You would have been. You would have been. Yeah.
Actually, I've been asked to become not a humanist, but a celebrant, where I go to people's funerals and talk. And I've been asked that quite a few times.
It's basically celebrants as an alternative to a Christian funeral. It's basically celebrants listen to everybody in the family.
Yeah.
And then they tell the story of the life.
Yeah.
But they're actually taking stories told by the family. So it makes it very personal.
Yeah. No, the humanists are different. They won't mention God. Humanist. Right? They don't. But a celebrant can actually talk about anything. He can talk about God as well if they want to. You know, if the family want to. And that's quite one of the big differences. But the humanists they've got an agenda.
They do, yeah. I mean, that's why I left, because of their agenda.
Oh, were you a humanist?
I was for about 6 months, and
Really?
they used to send out an email, and one of the emails just got my goat. I thought I didn't sign up for this. I forget what the issue was, but I stopped the email straight away and said, right, rang them up and said, can you stop my subscription too? And they did straight away.
Okay. Yeah. See, a lot of people don't know that. So we've just explained something today.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'll tell you who I see a lot of in my city. Jehovah's Witnesses. But let me tell you something. They don't approach you now.
No.
They just stand there with their whatever they've got with their leaflets, and they don't approach you, which is a great thing, you know. And everybody can believe what they believe in, as long as they don't force it upon me, you know. So that's what I look at now. I was going to wait to say something controversial there. I better not.
I've given up being controversial, Peter. People just hammer you. There's not much point. I mean, actually speaking your mind these days is just impossible. I mean, if we put what we thought on social media, then there's going to be half the country don't agree with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. The half that do agree with us won't say a darn thing, but the half that don't will attack us. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the only place that I do this now, and even here I'm a bit constrained. If you put one thing out, you've had it. I am really, you know what I'm like, but I am really, really careful now.
Yeah.
And because what you write could be construed as something else, misconstrued, sorry. And they can think, oh, wait a minute, but it's hard to explain it yet. Because I've done it once, and a lady got my messenger and she gave me abuse.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you can give people abuse, and you don't know who's doing it. It's just a name and a picture, and you haven't got a clue who's attacking you or why.
Yeah. Well, I was also that.
Or even if they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these people are just not real, are they?
Yeah. I mean, the saddest one is when the Sky News presenter went and tackled a woman that was putting things out. Remember that one?
Can you remind us, Peter?
Middle-class woman. What did she do next? She went home and she took her life. That newscaster I can't remember his name. I haven't seen him I think he was absolutely devastated after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he said, "Why are you writing things like that?" Blah blah blah. And that was her. She was gone. Couldn't take the shame of it, getting caught. Yeah. So it's got a lot to answer for. You know.
Indeed.
And it can even jeopardize your job. I've seen a few people just recently making their views known one way or another on certain subject, and they've lost their job the next day because it brought the firm into disrepute.
Yeah.
As soon as their name gets mentioned on the social media, they brought us into disrepute.
Now, we know, I don't actually watch it, but we know of this morning, don't we, on ITV?
Yeah.
And we know what's been happening over the months. But they've now put a new policy into place, and they've not itemized it yet. But the policy is that if you have a relationship with somebody at work, you've got to declare it. Okay.
Right.
So that basically, I mean, if you've got a relationship with somebody at work, then you declare it so everybody knows. There's no secrecy, and but they're not stopping there, Peter. What they're actually doing is saying, right, what we also want is a list of your friends at work.
Ooh, where does it stop? I want to know what time you go to the toilet. Yes. What? How much toilet paper did you use? We went, know that. It's just getting ridiculous. Listen, most people, well, a lot of people meet their husbands and wives through work. That's a well-known fact. A lot of people have affairs at work as well, but a lot of people abuse their position at work as well. That's the problem, and that's what happened with Philip Schofield. If he hadn't abused his position, he'd still be in that job. Where is he now? But has anybody heard from him lately?
No, not really. But Peter, if people find me talking to myself, I'm not going mad. I'm having a staff meeting because there's only me.
I know. Listen, folks, these two guys are really lucky that they've got a lifestyle that they work on their own, and that's it. I've got 3 staff to look after, and every time you grow, it costs you more money. But I couldn't cope in my own now, guys. I couldn't go out and do the work I do. It would kill me. And it's really, really hard. But you've got to sometimes make hard decisions. Like a couple of my guys are going part-time, and they're happy enough. You've got to be flexible, you know? And
but when ITV do define what friends are, then that opens up a whole can of worms. Because if you are friends, suppose you work in a department, and you obviously try to get on with everybody in the department, but they won't all be your friends.
No.
But supposing that your boss is your friend, and a position comes up for promotion, and your boss picks you, then the company can say, "Oh, they've picked a friend."
That's right.
Yeah.
Or the employee can say, "Aha, you've picked your girlfriend."
Yeah.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. In my regiment, in the British Army, right, they had their own Freemasons lodge. Did you know about that?
I was invited once.
Well, they had their own lodge. I'm not in the fraternity, but one guy I know left, and he says he wasn't a bit happy about the situation. He told me, you know, and but I don't know anything about it. But that was amazing to know that, you know.
Yeah. No, Freemasons. Yeah, we've got a lodge. There is a Freemasons lodge in Devizes, and John and I know somebody who is well respected in the Masons. And we met him on the academy, and if his name came to mind, I would say it, but I don't want to. So there are. I mean, we said earlier that everybody's got the freedom of choice, and you can
Yes.
choose what religion you want to be, and you can choose which organisations you're a member of. And we know that in devisers, the Freemasons essentially keep themselves to themselves and do charity work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a guy that worked for me, ex-prison service, came to me at 55, passed away last year, about age 90, I think. And down in Glasgow, you've got the Catholic and Protestants, you know what they're like down there. And he went in, shook a guy's hand, and he says, start Monday. And then he says to him, did you know that this, wherever they worked, is called Vatican City? Right?
Yeah.
Because most of them were Catholics.
Right.
And he says, it's called Vatican City. But he happened to be a Protestant in charge of it. And he got a job. And it's amazing how, it's not, Aberdeen's no problem. But when you go down south, for instance, Lanark is basically a Rangers area, you know, everything's blue. Somebody painted their house green. Guess what happened by the morning?
It was blue again.
It was blue again.
Yeah. Oh dear.
It was painted over now. I don't know if it was a joke or anything, but and now there's another one I watched in TikTok the other day. A really, really keen Rangers supporter got a birthday cake and his family filmed it. And when he cut the wedge and opened it, it was the colours of Celtic. That was a cracker. Anyway, back to John. Come on, John, get involved.
Hello. Why do you want to come back to me?
Well, just to give you a chance to.
I've been trying to think who the Freemason person is. He's in Scotland. He likes cycling. I can't find him in my flipping friends.
No.
However, I look.
Trying to find somebody is difficult. If you could search by city, it'd be good, but you can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's not. Search anywhere.
It's quite interesting when a name pops up from about 30 years you've forgotten about. Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that, you know.
Well, basically, when I had to give up my Facebook account earlier this year, and you've had the same situation, Peter.
Yes.
You've got to try and find people to contact, people you've known from 15 years ago. And you're going to miss somebody. There's no way you can remember all your friends from 15 years ago. So rebuilding a Facebook page is a challenge.
How many people actually reported you for being a clone?
I got 3 messages saying, is it really you? And this was when I had 27, 30 followers. People were writing just to make sure it was me. Now that I'm up to 533, when I send a friend request, it tends to be taken seriously.
You're messaging with something that nobody else would know.
Yeah. Somebody did that. Yeah. Asked me about a memory and said, do you remember when? And I was able to describe it. So I said, right, you can be a friend.
Incidentally, John, does that chap not stay in the South Coast?
Who?
The guy you're thinking about.
No, he's up your way.
Is he?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's I may misspeak here, but I think he's a grandmaster.
Okay.
He goes around different lodges doing things, etc. But can I think of his name?
You
know what will happen? We'll finish here and his name will pop up.
Is that 11 o'clock?
It is 11 o'clock, believe it or not. It's 11 o'clock.
John, it's over to you.
Over to me. Oh my gosh. So I guess it's that time where we all ought to say goodbye. So it's goodbye from that man up in Scotland. What's your weather like today, by the way, Peter?
It's dull but dry at the moment.
Aye. From that man down in the southwest, well, just about in the southwest, I think it is. Okay. And from me in the middle of England, it's goodbye. See you soon, same time, same place next week.
Just before you go, listeners, Aren't you glad that I bought a spare iPhone?
We are, Peter. We are. You know we are. Brilliant.